Hello and welcome. Today we'll be creating a dreamy ambient track in the style of Oneheart, in particular the collaboration track he did with Chi called Snowfall. This video will demonstrate how to make all the sounds in the track we're about to hear, as well as the contribution they have to the song as a whole. I'm also going to demonstrate a few songwriting techniques that will make creating melodies super easy for anyone. So ambient music is intrinsically very calming to listen to, with emphasis usually being given to melody and atmosphere. With this in mind, I like to start with the chords as they'll really define the mood of the project. So to begin with, I started by strumming out a few chords on the guitar. So this is the progression I came up with. Rock on. So the first thing that I like to do is just start off by writing in the chords on a soft pad sound, as I find these are the easiest to work with when I'm making my harmonies. So these are the three chords, D minor, A minor, and G. And then I'll just get to work on experimenting with moving some of the notes around. And this is what I came up with, just a slight variation on the original chords. So now what I'll do is just mute all these notes and then go into my ARP here. So I've just got this little preset I made on Vital. And we'll go into the piano roll. And then with these notes behind, we can use them as a basis to start writing our melodies. There's many basic arpeggios we can start off with. Arpeggio just means broken chord. So we can start by putting in the notes here. So this is one example. And here's another. Another you could use. And then after a bit of time, I eventually came up with this one. Then what I like to do is take out a whole row of these notes. It could be the high ones, it could be the bass, and we're just going to copy all these. So I'm going to miss out that first one. And then I'm just going to drop them into a different patch. So this sound is from SynthPads by Spitfire Audio. It's a free VST to download, and it already sounds similar to our original arpeggio. So I'm just going to pop those notes in there, and then maybe move them up an octave. And so the two of them together sound like this. And then again, I just duplicated the bass notes, the Rhodes VST that comes with FL Studio. So I've got these notes here. And I think that's a cool way of just making your arpeggios way more interesting. Instead of having one VST playing all the notes, you kind of want to spread out a few of the different sounds to build up a more interesting atmosphere of melodies. So as I mentioned, the original ARP was made using Vital, which is a free VST you can download. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go through the sound in the 3x oscillator, as you can get a very similar idea. So we'll start off with the sine wave, take that down to there, and a square wave. Maybe a bit of detune. Bit of attack. Low pass 2, take the filter down. That should do. Then onto the sound. So I'm going to use a saw clipper to bring up the volume. Then some chorus. And some delay and reverb. So I've also got this send channel, sending that to here. So using the Fruity Send, you can choose where you want to send the signal from. So basically it gets this far down and then gets punted over to this channel here. And the advantage of that is you can mute this channel and you'll still be able to hear on the auxiliary. Also, it won't have these effects getting routed there as well. It'll be before them. So on this channel, I use Supermassive to create this huge atmospheric pad. So I had the mix all the way up and then a bit of EQ just to turn down the frequencies in the low end. And over time that creates a really nice blur, which I just used as a background ambience and brought it up in the mix towards the end of the track. So just quickly, I'll also show you this patch here. These were a few grace notes that I just tuned up an octave. And they're just playing some of the same melody notes as the main ARP. Okay, so over here we've got a few atmosphere sounds, one high and one low. And then I sampled a choir note and just played this drone throughout the track. Maybe it's like the biblical connotations, but something about like using a choir sample can almost create like this heavenly sort of vibe, often used in film scores and stuff like that. And yeah, just something to try. And then finally, I've got a couple of Foley recordings. So one is just final. And then we've also got some air, which is basically like a high-end hiss. And they just help build out more of the space and make it sound as if this track is being played in a physical space almost. So I've also got this bass sound, really low and rumbly. It's like a respace. But I think I'll go over that in the next video. And just one more quick tip here. As you can see, these two patterns are really long. So what I did is just duplicated the pattern all the way to the end of the track. Just went through the pattern and automated a few of the velocities. And this is to create a much more human element. And we could also go in and just move some of these notes around just to create more imperfection and create a feeling like these arpeggios were actually being played on an instrument and they have that element of like human error. This could be a good way to keep like attention throughout the track, just having these small nuances, just bringing in more of a human element. So far we've taken a look at creating melodies, a few different ARP sounds, and also building up some atmospheres in our track. Make sure you join me in the next video and we're going to go over creating some ambient pads and also using vocal samples in our tracks. Alright, see you there.